All right. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope y'all are doing well. Once again, apologies for the inconvenience that I may have caused by changing the time that I was planning to stream today. But yeah, I just got to get better at looking at what's going on later in the week, because I absolutely just 100% forgot that it was Good Friday and that we had plans for the morning. So we're here now, and let's get going with the fan art, or the digital painting, I guess, which will be fan art of Silksong. Once again, I'm just a brief introduction. I'm going to be working in the painting program Krita using a display tablet, which is down here. So if I'm looking down this way, I'm drawing. Over here is chat, basically, and up here is reference image. Yeah. So let's start the way I always do, and that's taking a look at last week's piece of art, and then just kind of critiquing it, see how I feel. Read on videos. I think you should draw the Fae from Mount Fae. Sure. I can definitely do that. Let me pull that up as a reference image in a bit. We're going to start first with just kind of looking at last week's piece. So I did try to do a fighting screen, the Hornet against that crazy gauntlet at the end in the high halls, which I did not get through. Didn't even fight them actually last week. I went to Mount Fae instead and got to the top there. So I now have the double jump, which is lovely. Anyway, looking at the piece from last week, I'm actually kind of happy with how it turned out in terms of composition. I think what I'm looking at here is I have hang on, pen. We'll go with the magenta line. So Hornet here, there's some oddness going on with the black levels in Hornet's body here, because this color is different than this color. Like those are just two different things, which I think that's probably because I was starting to rush at the end and started messing up my layers. It's fine, I could figure that out. I'm pretty happy with the way that the letters turned out. I think this was a fun way that it looks. I do think, given more time, I probably would have cleaned up like this section right here. It's just kind of weirdly a different shade than everything else. And then overall, the colors are fine. I would have liked, I think, a little bit more color in like some of the shadows, like down here. Like it's very, and I know this is like true to the character models and stuff, it's very gray, but I'm just in preference of more color. Oh, and I fully missed shadows on the wings there too. Whoops. Yeah, overall pretty happy with it. I think, yeah, not really much else I can do. I definitely pushed myself a little too far, maybe trying to do all of these characters within only 2 hours, but that's, yeah, you live and you learn. I think at some point I would like to try to revisit this and see how much further I can push it. And in fact, that was my original plan for today, but since there's somebody here who wants to see me do Fae from Mount Fae, we'll do that, because you're hanging out, checking out me doing some digital painting. Cool. So what do I want to work on this week? I think this week we're going to scale it back a little bit, because I, again, want to work on figuring out the color things so I can kind of make that second nature, and so I don't have to worry about, like, it'll just come more naturally as I'm trying to paint it, and not just, again, these are fine. I can tell that this is metal, and I can tell that this is shiny, and that's great, and I'm happy with that. But I just want a little bit more color in my painting works. So yeah, we'll go with that then. So again, scale it back to a single color, which will be fun actually because Mount Fay is all snowy and white, so it'll give me actually a very good opportunity to work on the color selection. So absolutely looking forward to it. Cool. We'll then just make a new folder, or a new file. Save it here. Replace this one. Make it a V2. Great. Cool. So we'll go grab some reference images for Fay. Let's see. Silksong. Fay. Mount Fay. Cool. Yeah. Ooh. Let's try to. You know, it actually doesn't really matter if I spoil myself. I don't really care at this point. I'm close to the end, and I've kind of guessed all the power-ups that I'm probably going to get at some point. Wait. Why can't I find... Okay, you're not helpful. Go... Try... Oh, no, I didn't... Okay. No, give me the wiki. Okay. Search. Fay. Mount Fay, yes. I want to get... Fayforn? Fayforn. Ooh, we have on the wiki a idle and a roaring. Oh, I didn't put up my Artstream reference for you to see what I'm looking at. Apologies. There we go. Above my head now. So we have the idle form and the roaring. I think I like the dynamism of the roaring form, and because we're working in a landscape portrait, this will do a lot better, better job of filling up the page. So we'll go with that one. Opening the new tab. All right, that looks great. Now, does Fayforn have horns, or is that a beak on the head? Or those like little nubs, like antenna things? Oh, great. And we have here the screenshot. Perfect. Ooh, and it's much bigger. Lovely. So I can now have some reference for the background in which we find Fayforn as well. Great. Okay. Cool. So, let's see. All right, let's get started. We got our sketch layer. That is not the right pencil. Blue line it. Perfect. Okay. So let's see. We're going to, I think, probably just keep the pose, basically. We have a bunch of floof. Oh, no, it's just a straight line up. And some down. Now, do we think that Faithorn is like a moth? And just like a snow moth? Which, side note, the Pokemon Snow Moth is great. Right? That's the name of that Pokemon? Who evolves from Snom, which is also a fantastic name. I've drawn it too big. Could be a Silk Moth? Yeah, that's what I thought. And we assume probably no connection to the Radiance from the first game, yeah? This Faithorn is very helpful. Okay, no, I do need to just bring this down. Ooh, you know what, actually? I wonder if I want to do like a bit more of a dynamic composition and just have Faithorn up in the corner there, and then have Hornet down in that area. Interesting. Let me finish blocking this in, and then I actually really should have just started with the thumbnails as I usually do, instead of just diving into this right away. Oh, these things go super far, huh? Ooh, and then, okay, I need to go back to the other, Faithorn have two tails? Oh, I didn't open it up. Oh yeah, that was going to be one of my reference images for redoing Hornet's pose from the last one. Okay. Oh yeah, okay, so Faithorn does have two tails, so let's just open this up in a new tab so I have reference for all of them. So idle, roaring, and then tails. I made it too tall. That's fine. That long, fluffy tail. Fluffy tail number 2 comes up this way. Great. Okay. Now that I have a rough sense of Faithorn, let's go back. We'll do some thumbnails, and we'll do an example of just the Faithorn here. What's the idle pose? Is it like a big blanket? I feel like it's a big blanket. Yeah, it's kind of like a big blanket. All bundled up nice and warm on top of Mount Fae. The tails. Oh, tails. Oops. Okay. Yeah, it's fine. It's a thumbnail. It doesn't need to be. We got one there, something on top of things, and we do like a hornet down here. Kind of not necessarily swordless, but not ready to fight. And that's, I think, fine as an idea. Now if we do make Faithorn smaller, got the wings. And then we have, ooh, you know what? Because it's a roar. And drawing inspiration from the actual game is, again, oftentimes when battles start, you get the big, let me give you the more impressive reference image. The scream animation, so you can't move or do anything. Maybe that's what we'll have here. It'll be the roar, and then we'll have Hornet down here, Her arm up in front of her face. Cloak being blown back this way from the force of the roar. So standing strong against it. Kind of like that. I think need to make it a little bit more dynamic. So instead of going diagonally that way, what I want to do is similar, but instead we'll have a form more central, again with the big floofy wings, which are getting more and more squiggly as I do these iterations. Oof. And we'll have Hornet be more central, so we are looking at it more in perspective. Similar deal. Hornet's arm will be out this side or out this side. No, we'll do it out this side so we can still kind of cheat it. So she's looking kind of sideways. So she'll be that way. But it'll be more, we'll be able to see it like this. Her body's in here. Being blown back by... Yeah, I think that's roughly the idea that I'd like to go for. And then, because I have space for another thumbnail... Oh, let's come up with another idea quickly. What do we want? We could do, throwing this out as an idea, instead of looking up at Faithorn, we'll change perspectives. We will be looking from behind Faithorn. Which, again, I hope I'm saying that correctly. So we got the floof, floof. And we're up here, and then Hornet is just itty bitty down here. Again, I like the idea of it being the roar, and like the blowing the cloak back and open. So she's got her arm out in front of her face. Which, I mean, as an idea, that's not, I'm not terribly upset with that. I think, I do think, in looking at these, this one's the most static and isn't super interesting to me. This one's slightly better, but I do like either of these two. And I think I would rather have like the full like majesty of this like elder god being be kind of the central thesis of the piece, or central visual of the piece. So I think we're gonna stick with this one. So let's whoop. No, not move. Why? What am I doing? Oh, I wanted to grab the marquee tool. That's right. Grab that. Let's... Oh, why did you show up over there? Try this again. Copy selection to new layer. Wonderful. Now we can grab this. Resize it. Probably recenter it a little bit. Cool. So we got that. Oh, and once again, you can't see my layers. I'll need to find a way to to fix that at some point. Not today. So sketch layer. Renaming this to thumbnails. Actually, maybe I'll bring this one back, because that is actually my better, more detailed sketch. So we'll We'll keep this one. So this will be sketch underscore good. Great. And then back to brush here. So we have a little nubs, big eyes. Makes it look actually quite cute. And I will say the little horn things does make it look like it's got a little bow on its head, which I think is adorable. Okay. Now I don't want to spend too much more time on that. We're going to make sure it's kind of a little bit more centered here. Down just a teensy bit. Not too much. I do want to, maybe a bit more. I do want to have it like take up the majority of the frame. I do want to make sure that we have space for the ground that it's on, and it's got the little plants here. We'll say there's some steps down this way. I don't actually know if that's true or not, because it looks like it's maybe a ledge, but we'll go with some steps. And Hornet is here. Smaller. A little cloak, and then popping up. And you can't see that hand because it's going to be in front of her face. Okay, I mean that's good enough for now. I'll probably start painting Hornet larger and then shrink her down to make her fit in the scene. And then for the sky, if I want to do it colorful, do I try to do like an aurora maybe? Or is that going too far away from the base material? I'm gonna say no, it's probably not going too far away from the base material, but I do think it's probably going to be trying to push myself too far in terms of trying to get it to work. So let us get started then. No. Let's go with the background. Let's actually just rename this one from background to paper. And then this one we will rename to background. And then we'll give it a fill. We'll go with a dark blue. Maybe nudge it a bit more towards purple. Like a nice midnight blue, perhaps. Okay. A little too vibrant, but that's fine. We'll go lighter, or darker, grab the airbrush tool. Give ourselves a little bit of a rough vignette. And we'll go in a little bit lighter. Saturated. Do a little bit of a snowy haze to lighten up around the subject here. Oops. Great, okay. It's a good start. Let's go back to my brush, or go to my brush. Say the background is good now. we'll lock that for the moment. And then let's start with the piece that I want to spend the most time on, which is Faeforn. So okay, now before I start painting, let me think of how I want to break this down. I think we're gonna go 3 parts, probably. We'll do the head and shoulders as a... well, probably head, shoulders, and wings, actually, as one part. The body here as a separate layer, and then these wings out here and the tails as a final layer, I think, in the back. I think that's what we'll do. So we'll start with we'll rename this Faeforn tails, and then we'll start painting here. Oh, I don't think I want blue. We're gonna go... well, actually, that's not true. I do want to stay within blue probably, but I want to go much more towards the white end of things. Probably not all the way to pure white, because I will want to save that for some highlights at some point. So we'll go here. Let me actually also just make a call a swatches layer. This will be the white that we're using for Faeforn. So lock that layer. Great. Tails. We'll start the tails, just block in the what's the word? Block in the shapes. Worry about adjusting the colors later. Because I'm assuming that Faeforn's probably all same color, just the light is hitting her. I assumed it was a her. I don't know why. Hitting them differently. So do that, that's fine. And then we got the... okay, it's the back area that comes down here. Up there. Oh, that's why. Okay. Great. I think that's good. We'll go... what's next? Add a new layer. Rename this to... torso? Body. Body? We'll go body. The last one will be head. Cool. And then from here... no, that will be the head, probably there. Take that back. Body will be... oh, first things first. Back to the swatches. The gray... we are in very much in the blue colors, though, so we'll stick... might get a little bit saturated with some blue. Out here, probably. That feels about right. Great. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. Swatch is done. Lock the swatch layer. Body. Assume the body's actually probably just gonna carry up into here as like the actual overall shape of it. go with some actually very dark, not quite all the way black. Yeah, once again, back to the swatches. This will be the black color. Watch, back to the body. Body's too high. Let's fix that line here. Okay. No, that's not the right shape. Oops. The limbs are more evenly sized. I'll do that. Okay, that looks better. And then do I want to do from here? I wonder if actually maybe I want to put the wings on the tails section, which I think actually oh, maybe that's just a different layer then too. I don't necessarily want, like, I want to be able to adjust the angle of the wings without messing around with the angle of the body as much. So I think I will actually just add a fourth layer instead of trying to mess around with that. So we'll do, this is Faeforn wings now. And then we'll go back to grab the white. Ooh, I made Faeforn too big. That's fine. I don't mind the wings going off the edge of the canvas. I think it's okay. Make sure we fill it in properly though. I don't really want the background seeping in. I do want Faeforn to have like very impressive wings. That was a very cool moment actually in the game when Faeforn came down. Very exciting. And then similar on this side. Higher here. And I think the reason that I wanted to do this as a separate layer is that I want to be able to have an easier time reshaping the wings where it crosses the tail in this area right here. So that's one of the reasons that I decided to do it this way. Oh, no. Not yet. Stick with the wings. Wings have to be done first. Seems like a decent start. I think maybe it's a little bit too thin. Picking it up a little bit. Nope. That's the tail, not the wing. Okay. Back to the tail then. Let's adjust where it goes. Myself a little bit more space to play with. in there. Back to the wing. Actually, I think the wing is probably fine now. And then we'll do ourselves a new layer. Horn head. Once again, we'll stick with the white. Head a little bit bigger. And then the head will include the frills and stuff. Oh, I just got to go underneath the head. Okay, now let's... Oh no, I hit it on the body. Dang it. Let's hide everything else. Body is... Okay. Block the body, so I don't accidentally do that. It'll move... Okay. Try this again. Now, I'm sure there's a way to just isolate the layer in Krita with a keystroke. I don't know what it is currently, so that's kind of a little bit too bad. Too far. Okay, great. I think that is pretty good. Go back down to the tails. Just a little bit here as an indication that they're coming out that way. Fantastic. Okay. I think that's a good base layer to work from. And then let's group it all together. Let's name this simply Faeforn. And then for the head. Okay, and then let's once again start working from the bottom up. So, log everything else. Go to the tails. Now from here, we have this light color. And then to darken it, let's actually also just go more towards the saturated blue. Find a nice kind of other tone to go for. Maybe try that. We try the swatch. Does this look like a... It is not. That look like a good gray. Not quite the shadow color that I'm looking for. If we go even like further into the purple. It's a bit saturated. How about here? Does this look good? I think just a little bit more purple and then we're there. So a little bit in... Yeah, okay. I think that's good. I think we're gonna stick with that color. We'll do... This is the shadows for that. So, swatch is done. Back to the tail. Full screen. Wait, we're on the tails? Yes. Great. So, let's see. How do we want to do this? doing some darker sections to pull the shadows in, add some ambient occlusion to that. More goofy down here. It's just gonna be dark down here. Under the wings, it'll be dark here. Start blending it. I don't really want a harsh line because it's gonna be a big goofy moth thing. So I don't think there should be too many like harsh shadow lines on this. A little bit of highlights at the top. A little bit of, not a harsh line, but like a darker edge to the underside and the ambient occlusion lines. Do a better job of defining that over here. Oh, whoops. Why did I... You know what? I want to hide the sketch now. I think the sketch is getting in my way and it caused me to grab the wrong color. Undo those. Hide the sketch. Great, okay. And this. Goofy and cloud-like. Maybe I try painting it like a cloud. I say that. I don't think I've ever actually really painted a cloud, so I don't actually know what that means, really. I think, okay, let's make a decision. The light is just kind of going to be ambiently everywhere, so we'll probably do some rim lighting for oopsies, for Faithorn. Kind of, I'll add that in a little bit for now. Just add this here. Let's hide the wings for a sec so I can And the head. I can just properly paint the tails, even if we're not going to see them. Give me the freedom to rearrange things later if I don't like how the composition is turning out. So, yeah. Maybe a bit of a waste of time, but I'm okay with that. I'd rather have a little bit more detail available to me than not. Okay, I think this is not correct. I think this I need to get rid of oops. This section here. Maybe do like a bit of a thing there. I probably shouldn't go straight into white there. Probably blend out a little bit nicer. Alright, so that one's actually nice and soft looking. That's great. This one, I think I need to do a better job of hiding more of the white sections because this is probably going to be a little bit more in the shadow than this side. Although this side is probably also not really supposed to be as light as it is. And I think I overdid it a little bit. Let's bring that back up. Teensy bit. That out. Okay. And I think that's fine. Last thing now is let's give these a... Oh, no. Not. Just like the ever so slight bit of rim lighting. And maybe not so much rim lighting so much as, well, yeah, rim lighting. But because it's fluffy and fuzzy, not so much because there's a rear light behind it. Down there, but down there. I don't really want it in the actual shaded part. A little bit of definition here, perhaps. Okay, I think that's probably good. I will maybe bring it down. Well, I missed this side entirely. Hang on. I will maybe bring it down a bit in the final render, but for now. Okay. All right. So as a rendering style, I kind of like how that's looking right now. So let's continue on to let's keep on with this theme and continue with the wings. So I'll bring the wings back. Cool. Grab this, reset the size. Make sure that I fill it all in first. So we have something to build off of. And then we'll do something similar, except as we go higher up, we'll leave this more in white, partially because I do want to make sure that we have the head being the focal point here, so the head will be the lightest of it all. But I do want the eyes to continue to go up the image, so we'll make sure that this whole, excuse me, this whole section, oops, I colored in the wrong side. Okay, undo that, undo that, undo that, all of those things. Redo, 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 undo. Okay. Locking the layer. Moving on to the wings. Okay, let's try this again. Unlock the wings. Painting on the wings. Okay, great. So now, actually, let's grab this mid-tone. Go back to our swatches up here. Actually, I can probably just blend, huh? Take the blend brush. Is that the right color? No, it's not. Okay, so let's just undo all that. That was a fun idea. Redo, redo. Redo, 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 redo. Undo. Okay. Brush. That's the color that I want. Perfect. So this will be the darkest here, probably. I'll have ruffles here. Layers. Working on the wrong layer. Okay. Back to the swatch. I added the swatch. We're locking the layer now. Going to the wings. Then let's, first things first, let's define where the ruffles will be. And then start shading from here. Add a little bit of extra darkness around the back of the body where it would be ambient occluding. It would be darker there. a little bit. Actually, I just want to make a little bit the fluff down here a little bit extra dark. Oops. Errant brushstroke. Down a little bit. Here. Out. Okay, that's a little rough and scraggly. So the idea, I think, is solid. I just want to make larger, oofier segments, I think, is the idea. There can be some scragglies, but not as many. Okay. Yeah, I'm enjoying the look of that right now. I think that's probably a good start for that side of the wings. Now let's try to see if I can recreate it over here. This actually pulls out further than I thought it would. So it goes pretty far. Grab some of that. Try to gradient it out a little bit. Oops. And then I need to, once again, how did I do it? I did some bigger fluffy bits. Then make sure I paint it over, which is a little bit of a it just has shadows. of the darkest. Here. Get a hint of it. Okay, that's not terrible. I think I do want to actually readjust the shape of this and include this in the front of the wing here. Instead, this will, oops, this one here. White will be here. In terms of changing how the shape of that one looks. And then we'll, oop. Okay, I think that's much closer to what I was looking for. Now we need to probably reduce the size of this a little bit. Make sure that the shadows follow the shape of the wing that I'm going for. Yeah, okay, that looks pretty good. It is currently a little bit unbalanced. I do need to just add just like barest hint of all of the darkest shadows in some of this. But maybe not there. I think that one's probably here. Okay, that's pretty good. I think this is now over the dark, so we'll pull this up a little bit. Oops. Too far. No, still too dark. Okay. That's fine. I can just push the light parts out a bit further. Okay. The shadows conform to the ship wings while I'm here. too sharp. Okay, we'll grab the blending tool a little bit and kind of smudge it out a little. I don't have like a sharp defined edge. I don't want to do too much of that because I do want well. No, that made it worse. Why did that make it worse? I think because it is too sharp of an edge here. So I also need to, I think, grab this, go back to my brush, and then just kind of soften it along here as well. Yeah, because I want it to be like a rounded shape, not like a harsh edge going straight up right there. Okay. That's looking better. Okay. Okay, that's nicer. A bit more blending here, because once again, I don't really want it to be solid edge. It needs to be a rounded shape, because it's a big fluffy creature on top of a mountain of snow. Okay, great. That's better. And then we'll do the same thing on this side too. Maybe a little bit to less of an extent, because I think the way things are going, this side is a little bit more light. Needs to undo that quite as much. For it to feel, this just feels too solid. Oh, I am running out of time. Okay, I can't spend too much more time on this for now. We'll just have to call that good and move on. Come back to it when I need to. Actually, no, forget it. That's fine. Okay. Head now. Let's lock the wings. Go to the head. So, the wings and the head. Great. Nope. Keep the wings visible. Cool. So we'll go the head here. Once again, we'll have to be big and poofy. Okay, I need to now hide the wings. So, oops. know where the edges that I'm working with are. Okay. See, now that looks like nice and fuzzy. Why was I having so much trouble with the texture of this earlier? It's fine. Okay. I have this. Let me grab the dark shaded areas. I'll do just a little bit down here. I have the middle one here. Kind of the middle section. And then out towards the edges a little bit. Cover it up here with this one. Ooh, so the wings need a little bit more of definition on the side here. The way we're going to define this is that all of this is here, and then we're going to have a little bit of a, once again, just the wraparound light from the fluffiness come through, defining the edge of the upper layer is. Be a full unbroken line. Doesn't need to be do. And oops, didn't mean to erase that there. Nope. The implied negative space. As long as it follows a consistent enough line, eyes will be able to track where it is. This. Bit of head area. slightly, up a little bit. That here. Texture to it. There we go. Okay. I think that looks good. We'll do the eyes now, which are we'll call it the same color as the body for now. Probably make it slightly darker. Eyes will be horn things first. We'll do highlights on there in a second. I think for now, this color, we need to do the eyes. Big. Big. Okay, I need to actually see them a little bit better. So, whoops, sorry for the flashbang, everybody. We're watching in a dark room. Get the outlines of them. Okay, great. Background's coming back. And now let's... Everything looks not bad. This whole section here is too similar. I'm not a huge fan of it, so do grab some of this slightly darker color, put it underneath the wings here, just to do some work in darkening down that area. Do the same thing on this side, just kind of let out a little bit here as well. No, that wasn't wings. Undo that. The head to here. Okay, so where is that? Is that... Oh, that's the wings here. Okay. The wings? Okay, back to in. Okay, then it's too dark here, so let's back to the head, I think. Once again, sometimes things look good in isolation, but when it all gets brought together, they don't quite match up. So we're gonna have to push and pull a little bit to really get the effect that I want. Kind of like the hint of some shadows. And then I need a little bit darker here. Kind of shade a little bit. All right, I'm liking how that's looking, just overall right now. I think we're doing pretty well. Oh goodness, only about half an hour left to get all this done. That's not enough time. All right, okay. So, I actually, everything looks like it's on the right layer. Hooray! Okay. Now for the eyes and the head, let's actually go pencil that I want. No, we'll go with a small brush. Okay, so how do I want to do this? We're gonna do just a little bit of. We're actually gonna go full white now, just because this is going to be like just the highlights. Going to be a shiny bit on the horns, just here. Well, give it a shape there. Okay, and then the eyes. A bit of a dot there at the top. Here as well. Grab this, and we'll need to lighten it up a bit. Ooh. Now I get to decide what color I want the eyes to be. Do kind of a more of a teal color. Add a bit more vibrance to it. To help it stand out from the background a little bit. There. Okay, I think that's done enough of a definition for the eyes. I think maybe actually we'll do the last little bit of a highlight. Just like there. On the edge here, perhaps. Yeah, just a little bit there. There we go. Big, shiny candy button eyes. All right. He looks pretty good. I think, kind of regardless of how I feel about most of this currently, I'm going to need to move on to putting Hornet into the scene and adding the base that we'll do. Faithorn is done. Oops, in front of the background. We'll do we'll call it a platform. And then we'll just do a big... Okay, so we got blue. We'll have some red in here, which means, do I want the platform to be purple-ish? So we can live in the same range of colors? Probably. Because we'll have the red of Hornet probably over here. Probably edged further into the magenta, because I don't want to like fully leave this section of the color wheel. But we'll do... the platform will be here. We'll do it around this color, perhaps. Grab the brush. And then let's rotate the canvas so I can draw a straight-ish line. I don't actually know if that's the right color now, but that's fine. We'll do... maybe it's just too bright of a color. Try bringing it down a bit. Also no, but you know what? I'm not actually that upset about this color. It's not really what I was envisioning at the beginning, but we can work with that. And then we'll go back towards blue, lighter. And it will have a highlight. Nope. Changed my mind. Don't like it. Try again. Okay, let's instead grab this color and then slide it a little bit further towards purple. Not too far. Just enough. I can have... yeah, there we go. That's much more what I was envisioning. Okay. Okay, and then we'll go grab this white again, because I think it's also still in the blue range. Whoops. Hopefully it didn't make anybody dizzy. Have the... oh, jeez. again. Bring it up a bit more because I don't want it to be like a fully straight line. But I do want it to be kind of obvious that there is an edge around here. Especially underneath the wings, I do want to hide that there because I do want it to be occluded a bit more by the shadows from the wings. Is that enough to suggest the shape of the platform? I'm going to say yes. I think that's fine. We'll do again. Here. Okay, that's great. I do think I need Faithorn to be moved over a little bit. Let's actually unlock everything so I can move it properly. Move the whole group together. Shift over slightly this way. Actually, you know what? Before I do that, let me put Hornet in the scene. Add layer for, oops, in there. We'll do, okay, and then let's think about this. I will need Hornet, probably body, head, and cloak as 3 separate layers. So we'll set those up first. Hornet body. Great. It's head. Then Hornet cloak. All right, let's see. Let me think. Cool. Now let's look at the sketch again. How did I have that? I had it. Oh, let's also straighten it out. No, I think actually Faithorn maybe needs to come over this way. A little bit more, be more, slightly more centered. Yeah, I like that. Okay, and then Hornet. We'll do the let's see, we'll do Hornet body first. Black here. And again, I think probably most of this will be hidden by the cloak and or need to relocate Hornet to kind of make more space for Faithorn. But this is do that. Then the head, grab this. Hornet will get actually probably a bit more of a purplish hint to her white instead of just the blue, because I do want them to be kind of distinct. So we'll do, well, it's very pink. That's fine. I can work with that, and we will adjust it later. Then the cloak, we're going to go, and probably not fully red. We'll do something more in the magenta side of things for sure, and then we'll do the cloak here. Going to be whipping around. I'll do a darker purple, more fuchsia, the interior lining of the cloak. Okay. I think that's good enough for the sketch. Wow! Very bright and colorful. We are definitely going to be changing some of this around. I think putting the body slightly in a different spot as well. Overall, I'm liking the feel of the motion of the cloak, at least. So we got that to start with, which is nice. Oops. Body's absolutely not in the right spot, though, I will say. Ooh, nope. Back, I'm back. We have this, we have that. Need a little bit of a mid-tone for here. No, we'll start again from a little bit. Nope. This color. Going to need a little bit of... Oh, I didn't actually change it at all, did I? A little bit of shadows on here. Hang on. I'm gonna pinch up at the top, not at the bottom. I should have locked the transparency. You know what? I can still do that. We'll lock the transparency, because I don't want to actually change the shape of the cloak at this point. Like the shape of the cloak. I do want to a little bit more shading to it. Whoops. There we go. That's the definition that I wanted. Beautiful. Okay. Much up here. Not bad. I think this needs to come up a bit further, though. Needs to... Oh, my arms. Oh, in an awkward position. Let's try this again. Over here. Oh, shoot. Unlocking transparency. Oh, interesting. I can erase the transparency, but I can't repaint on it. Didn't realize that. That's weird. Oops. Okay, so we have the cloak there. It's good. And then we'll do... I think what's next? We need to, you know what? Let's, before we keep going, let's group Hornet together. And then let's see if I can find a good spot for this to be. So Hornet is here. I think Hornet's too high up in the scene. Down a little bit. Make her arm visible in front of that. Yeah, I think that's the positioning right there. Great. Okay. Hornet there. We'll lock the cloak. I don't want to touch that for now. Let's work on refining the body then. I want it to be clear that Hornet's hand is going in front of her face. That. Cloak, actually, if we just... cut back a little bit so we can see body in there. I think that looks more correct. Ooh, that's not coming from her shoulder, is it? Huh. We'll do... There we go. That looks... better. Although... a bit. No, something is not quite going on. Right. Go back to the cloak. I think, oops, the cloak just needs to go up and over. It look like her arm is moving it out of the way. Yeah, I think that was it. That was it. Okay. Back to the body here. Cool. I like that. Now let's start working on the shape of her head, which is wildly off currently. Well, I say that, but I don't think it's actually that as far off as I was really thinking it was. I'm refining it. Okay, and then the cloak as well. Turn that down a little bit. Push it off to the side. Push this side up a bit. Because it is also fighting against the wind. So we'll be moving around a little bit, but not quite as much as the big flappy parts. Oh, and then we'll have a little bit of this side. Okay, that feels like it's actually being affected by the wind now. I like that. And then let's go with some shading on the head. Ooh, nope, don't like that. Try this again, back to this light color. Oh, I moved way too far down, that's why. Nope, still don't like that. That's too... We're gonna grab this. Oh, I'm working on the cloak layer. That's not what... Okay. Okay. Nope. I'm trying to solve the head. And the head shape is good enough for now, so we'll do... Try to do that. Go. Okay, that's the color there. Just a little bit darker again. Just for like down here where the cloak is meets it. Even maybe even just a little bit darker too. That's fun. I do think I have oversaturated that a little bit, so let's... yeah, because it's... Now, the waveform isn't quite looking as vibrant as I would have liked, compared to Hornet's like really pink colors. We hide that, and then let's. All right, before I start adjusting things there, let's shift things a little bit. Hornet. Ooh. That's right. Unlock everything first. Move Hornet. Where does she not tangent and still is visible? There. I think that's probably. I don't actually did I move her? Barely. Yeah. Looks better now. That's fine. Okay. So I think that's going to be it for the painting bits. Now let's start looking at really highlighting things. And we're going to whoopsies. The brush. Grab a what's the word I'm looking for? We will grab oh, that's not what I wanted. This one that I need to lock? Nope. How about now? Yes, okay. There we go. So we'll do highlights. Maybe we'll just call it lights. And then we'll grab this color. Actually, just bring it closer to white. Maybe fully white, actually. Full white, airbrush. Do just a little bit in here. Really sure that the oops. Sorry, just to make sure that the eyes are really drawn to the lightness of Baythorn. Alright, there we go. That's... we're just going to reduce the opacity a little bit. I don't want it to be quite so. We'll actually do screen as well. So lighten. Now we'll do a screen. Yeah. I think that looks good. We have now all the lights bringing our eyes up to the top of the piece of art, the artwork. And then I think we're just going to do some visual effects on top of the background, which again we'll do in teal, I think. Airbrush. Just bring out the colors here. Make sure we have some background visuals, making it look a little bit more similar to an aurora, maybe. Yeah, on that note, that's too much on. Okay, well that's good. Now with all of that, can I move Hornet further away? Into the corner? Maybe. I move day 4 now as well. Over ever so slightly. Yeah. All right. I think I'm happy with that. Cool. There's Baythorn. I think one thing. Oh, nope, not done yet. Sorry, gotta come back in. Hear what's going on with Hornet's head here. This is not cool. How do I fix that then? Once again, we'll lock transparency for now. That in. And then I want to, I think, do away with some of the color here, I think, on the front edges of her mask. I don't really want I don't want it to feel too pink. I want it to feel like it's white with the shadows being a color. Not that the mask is a color. So I'll make sure that I convey that properly. Actually, on that note, I should probably even just go into the blues here. And then we'll do give Hornet actually let's get rid of some of these little dragglies in the middle and around the outside. Clean up the lines a bit. Oops. We'll grab a softer brush. Eraser, I mean. That makes it look too blurry now. Let's undo that. The hard eraser brush. Okay, that's slightly better. Back to this layer. Call that light again. And this time I think we'll do the blue. That's kind of the colors that we're getting from the front. If we Oh, I was trying to erase it. That's why it's not working. Ooh, too much. Far too much. Let's try that again. Just the barest hint of blue. Around here. Oh, and that's right. I don't want it to be normal. We'll do screen. It's like there's that hint of it here. Okay, I think that's looking better. Do maybe it's light / shadow, because I do want to also nope, because that's going to be a different layer style. So again, we'll do darker. Grab that, and then we'll go a little bit darker. No. And not normal, we're doing multiply. Ooh, too much. Too much indeed. You know, ooh. This, also slightly darker. Multiply. Here, bro. How about that? I think for the light, I don't want that here. I think we're just gonna... If that's too far out of the way, we will maybe just do a little bit here. Yeah, okay, that's... I need to stop futzing around with it, because that's gonna be here forever. Yeah, okay, I think that's looking pretty good for what I got. There's a weird collar around the ruffles there that, now that I'm looking at it, it's not necessarily my favorite, but not the worst. And there we go. That is, whoops, the wrong scene. Cool. And there we go. The finish piece. We did Portrait of Faithorn and Hornet meeting atop of Mount Fae. I'm actually quite pleased with this right now. I think it looks great. So I will sign off for today. Make it into the thumbnail for the playthrough next week. I believe it will still be Monday. I need to double check my calendar. I'll create a scheduled stream for it so you guys know for sure when it will happen. But that's it for me for today. I hope you have a great weekend. Happy Easter to those of you who are celebrating it. And I will see you next week for streaming on we'll say Monday for now, Monday 9:30, and then again next Friday for some more digital painting. Take care of yourselves. Have a good one.